Welcome back, everybody. JumpX podcast, episode number 55, I believe. Mr. Young is here in Prague.
Yeah, in the gym, podcasting in the middle of the gym, pretty much. You can hear me pretty well, right?
Yeah, no, it's good, it's good. And you're about to get a session
All
in,
right, sweet.
right?
Yeah, not really, dude. I'm gonna be exercising, not training. Just
Yeah,
active recovery. So
something tomorrow, right?
yeah,
Indoor basketball court, or are you just jumping in the gym?
nah, yeah, it's gonna be basketball court indoor, but not a long session.
Wait, is this the one this isn't like the fancier one. This is like the less fancy older gym, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's gonna be really funny because I don't think the people there speak English. So me walking in and then trying to explain I have a booking and all that sort of stuff is probably gonna take like 30 minutes. So
Oh, wait, will your girlfriend be there when she's like with you?
uh, she might help. Yeah, she might help.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be fun as fuck. And then you just start
So I'm gonna
dunking.
have to be like, yeah,
Like, what's this weird
ahoy, huh?
Australian? They'll be like, what's this weird Australian guy doing? He's just grabbing the ring and I'll see you dunking. Like, why is he not shooting?
Yeah, yeah, shooting threes, just throwing lobs, dunking it. That's how we shoot threes, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
today we are talking about tendon pain again. I mean, we've probably talked about this before. I'm sure we have, but we're just going to talk about all tendon pain, not just knee. So we've both experienced different kinds of tendon pain ourselves. You've probably experienced more than me in terms of variety because you've probably had four different versions of it, right?
No. So I've only had Achilles and quad. And then if you want to count elbow, you can count elbow, but like
Last
fuck
game.
that. It's
Yeah.
not even elbow, it's not even a big deal. So but it's more Achilles and quad tendon. Uh I've never had patella.
Yes,
Never.
that's actually rare. That's actually rare as fuck because most people have patella.
Yeah.
But you've had quad in
Yeah.
both head, like your left and your right.
Yeah, I've had it in both Achilles, both quads. And you've pretty much just got typical jumper's knee. And I've heard you say you walk around with like a permanent 3 out of 10,
Yeah, yeah, no,
don't
I'm
you?
running with a permanent 7 out of 10 knee pain. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's funny. So you you haven't had Achilles, have you?
I reckon I've had like a one, max two, and that's after I've used like sprinting spikes on like a hard
Yeah.
track. That's about it though.
Yeah, your Achilles seem to be pretty good.
Yeah. But no, I've had
It's
quad.
like one of those. Yeah. Yeah. Go on.
I was just saying I've had quad as well.
Yeah.
But the thing is with
Yeah.
it's like it'll never hurt when I'm jumping. It'll more just be like you would say, hello.
You're on the podcast, by the way. So you're gonna be on the internet.
I could literally see like one anyway.
Yeah. Yes, that's my girlfriend, guys.
Unknown name. We have not said the
And
name.
she's like freaking out right now because she's gonna be on the internet. That's so funny. She's walking up the stairs like all red. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So you in terms of Achilles, I feel like, dude, my Achilles is so much more sensitive than my quad tendon. Like I'll like walk. I'll go for a walk that's like too fast one day, and then I'll feel it a little bit.
Shit, yeah.
It's weird as fuck. But my quad tendon seems to be way more durable.
Yeah, he takes more to like piss him off.
Yeah, pretty much, bro. Pretty much. Yeah. But in
Yeah.
terms of your knee pain, like your jumper's knee and uh stuff, like if you're always walking around with a 3 out of 10, does it like spike? Like what's the go with that?
Okay, the way I put it is like, I mean, you would know, but if you have more than patella tendonitis, you've got tendinopathy, and you've, jumped on, I guess, a bad knee for a long time, it's like almost about managing the knee pain more so than completely getting rid of it. So if I went and rocked up a Buckets basketball center, put on my shoes, and then threw a lob, and then tried to like dunk max effort, yeah, I'd probably spark it to like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. But if I do a full dynamic warm up and then slowly progress from like 10%, 15%, 20% jumps, I'll get it down to like a 1, 0.5, and then it gets down to the point where it doesn't hurt. But I can't just go out and jump without a warm up, without pain. That makes sense?
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes complete sense because my girlfriend's wondering why I'm not running for the bus
Oh,
because like because I'm not warm, babe. I'm in like negative degrees right now, and I have Achilles pain. So if I was to go run for the bus just randomly, like maybe it'd be all right in the moment, but like later that day, the next day, like I would be in more pain,
bro,
which
that's
is
so
fucking
true.
annoying. But
We've heard our athletes say
huh?
that thing though. Like with the cold, you definitely have more instances of tendon flare-ups.
Yeah, I don't know. Like just being here, I don't feel like it's that big of a deal. Like if you just make sure you warm up properly, it's the same. It's not really like too much different. You just might feel it a bit more throughout the day, like when you wake up and stuff like that, versus like being where you are, where it's like 40 degrees. Obviously your body temperature overall is always going to be higher. So, and obviously when you're more warm, you feel pain a little bit less, right? Like you were saying before, when you warm up more, you get to a point where you don't feel your tendon pain, right?
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
So I guess it just kind of works like that. So it's not like your tendons like have actually degraded more. You're just feeling the pain a little bit more because probably your core temperature is a little bit lower.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And you said you've had elbow. I've actually had elbow. I had it like a month and a half ago for like a week. What caused your elbow pain?
Oh, just bench pressing. It's always every time I bench press, like normal bench press, like flat bench press, it always like fucks it, you know? Like incline is fine, dips is fine, push-ups is fine, overhead press is fine. Literally everything is fine except bench press.
Bro, how it's so funny that dips are fine, but benches,
Yeah,
that's just
yeah, no, dips are 100% fine. No, it's because of mm, like bench pressing is a little bit unnatural, like because you're gripping a straight bar with your wrist turned
yeah, yeah.
like inward, right? So there's a little bit of torque in terms of like when you're moving like on your forearm because you're getting that rotation when you're
Mhm.
bench pressing. So it's a little bit of an unnatural position because your wrist is like, twisting while you're trying to push up and down. So that does stress your elbow out a bit more, And plus the bench press, the loading is more versus the incline, the loading is less than the bench press as well. Overall loading.
Yeah. No, that is also true. But your dips are quite strong as well.
Yeah.
Like for your body weight, they're pretty decent. Like I think I've seen you do at least 40 kilos for reps, like plus your body weight.
Oh yeah, easy. Yeah, yeah, pretty easy. Yeah. Like I feel like it's because I have good leverage on dips, whereas bench press, every time I bench press, it just feels like my leverage is just like terrible. Like I just it doesn't feel like my joints stack well on
Yeah,
bench press. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't like it feels like I'm in a super. So it's like you imagine pulling a deadlift from a deficit, right? Why is pulling a deadlift from doing a deficit deadlift harder? Because the range of motion is longer and the position you're in, the leverage isn't as good,
mm,
right? That's how I feel when I bench press.
yeah,
Like I just feel like my leverage for the
like,
movement is terrible, like because of my body structure, you know?
yeah, yeah. Well, you kind
Yeah,
of remind me of David Lade when you bench. Like I wouldn't say David Lade have has good benching genetics.
yeah.
Um, yeah, but when you say stacking, you mean like where your wrist is compared to your elbow. Like you might you're more like out there sort of thing, or you might be like that, and it's just all over the place.
Yeah, but just in terms of your bone structure as well, if you have like, you know, broader shoulders, like wider clavicle, stuff like that, you're better built to bench press than someone that's more narrow.
Mm. You got that jumpers build, bro.
Nah, bro, the jumpers feel is like having like a narrow narrow waist or like narrow uh like wider shoulders, narrow waist. Like you look at the guys that are like really naturally athletic, like you look at like 1 foot God or guys that are like really naturally athletic. They always have like a solid V taper, like Harrison as well that we train. Like
Yeah.
his V tape is pretty good as well. Like what's called a narrow infrasternal angle.
Hmm.
Like that's like
Yeah.
the ideal build to jump,
You're like X shape, bro.
you
You're
know?
like that, and then
Yeah. So, but it's just interesting. But it's like on a bench press, right? Going back to bench press, like that's where you're like getting your muscles bigger in terms of your biceps. Um, Even though they don't directly help with bench press, they might help stabilize the bench press. But getting them bigger, going to give you more leverage because your biceps going to crush on your forearm at the bottom of the rep,
yeah,
right? Which gives you more leverage. It's like if you have fat hamstrings when you squat, they're going to hit your calf sooner and give you better leverage out of the bottom of the movement.
hundred
You
percent.
know,
Even narrow, like the
like
more narrow your grip on bench, if you're holding that shit in there, it doesn't take much
yeah,
to start like compressing on the bicep, and if you're doing touch,
yeah.
game over.
That's why if you're lanky, it's harder to get stronger at some of these movements for that reason, just because the leverage. Whereas a shorter guy that's stocky has, you know, well developed muscle bellies is going to have far better leverage to be able to move
Mm,
more weight. You know, like for me, like I have a lanky upper body, so my leverage for like bench pressing,
mm.
isn't as good. Like it's not an excuse to not get stronger, but it's just like how it is. You know?
I have two things to say. One of them is like, I remember we always had this conversation about you and Sam. You're like, I swear you're built the same, but like you look way more lanky, even though you're
Yeah.
like basically the same weight. It's just always really interesting to bring that one
And
back.
his arms are longer.
Yeah, that's
His
fucked.
arms are longer than mine,
Yeah, so his
but
leg.
mine look longer because of how I'm built.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I feel like that's why I look taller on camera than I actually am, like versus someone like him, you know?
I had a conversation with someone the other day. Um,
Hey?
I had a conversation with someone at dunking, and they knew they're like, oh yeah, like the guy that you do JumpX with.
Mm.
Like, oh, how tall is Austen actually? I'm like, we'll have a guess, and he was like, oh, is he 6'7"? I'm like, for fuck's sake, no. And then we got into like
No.
this thing about like he was like, oh, I'm 6'1", I'm too tall to squat. I'm like, bro, Austin's like 6'4", and he squats deep as fuck. So
Yeah. That's another thing in terms of body structure and stuff. Like some tall guys just aren't like they're just like they're just not gonna deep squat. Like it's just how they're built, you
yeah,
know? Like and like it's not a good idea to force people into positions like that. Like for Gavin, like I would never expect him to like do a full deep squat unless he's got crazy, crazy hill elevation, you know?
yeah, yeah, man, he still gets pretty deep
So
being 6'8". Audits, yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but it's like, boy, I think you can at least get the parallel, but that's still a lot, you know? It's like my brother has a crazy hard time progressing in squat, and that's just because of his body structure and how he's built. I look at him, he's got this very poor leverage in a squatting position. So it takes him like quite a while to build up his squat. Because he's got such poor leverage, he has to produce far more force. So he has to quote unquote be stronger than someone, let's say your height, Tom, to move 100 kilos, you
Well,
know?
yeah, and he's yeah, not easy.
So
You go here.
yeah, yeah. So Yeah, like if you were to put him like on a force plate or something like that, it'd be very interesting to see how much force he's producing to move 100 kilos versus someone like you or someone that's shorter. You know? Hey?
Stanley.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he can go.
exactly, exactly. But also like also another thing as well, like I just want to talk about is like I guess it relates to squatting like as well. Like a squat deep, it requires a lot of internal rotation at the hip. So like someone like Gavin, like in terms of his genetics and his background, like for someone like him, his internal rotation like capabilities aren't as great as some other uh backgrounds, I guess. I'll use that word, backgrounds, you know? So that's gonna affect how deep he can squat, but it also affects his jump technique too, in terms of his block foot.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's like so this is something like people don't talk about as well, that I haven't heard many people talk about as well. Like his internal rotation is somewhat genetic. You can work on it, but it's somewhat genetic as well.
Mhm.
Like I don't know if you've seen John Morant jump, but his internal rotation on his block foot is insane.
Yeah, yeah.
But it wouldn't matter how much I work on mine. Like I would never have that just because of how my hips
Hmm.
and my genetics are, you know. So that's like a genetic factor in terms of like obviously like how many fast twitch muscle fibers you have, your tendon properties, all that. It's gonna affect your jump height. But in terms of how your hips are structured, that's genetic, and that affects how you jump as well, and how much internal rotation you can get on your two-foot jump as well. You know, like if I had more internal rotation in my hip, I would probably jump higher because I'd better block hard. And it's
Yeah.
something I can work on a little bit, but there's like a limit to that, to where the point where I would start getting problems with my hip because I'm just forcing a position that isn't I'm not supposed to be in.
Yeah.
You know,
No, yeah, for sure. I'd say
because yeah,
like I'd say we both have average internal rotation. Mine's definitely not great either.
yeah, yeah. But that's where you have to utilize other strategies to jump higher.
Hmm.
And that's where everyone's jump technique is going to look slightly different because of this, because of these genetic factors. Some people are just going to be naturally more elastic people, so their jump strategy is gonna uh what's the right way to put it? Uh
Reflect.
Correlate with that,
Yeah.
reflect that, yeah, reflect that. That's a better way of putting it. Reflect that,
Mm,
you know. So that's where those guys that are like that, they probably have a little bit of a shorter penultimate, uh, like you,
yep.
and they almost might jump a little bit into their plant because they're utilizing um, that store and release with their tendon. They're utilizing their shortening cycle quite a lot to jump, whereas someone that doesn't have those same tendon properties, that is relying more on strength and pure power output, jump higher, they might they'll have a longer ground contact time. They won't jump in the penultimate in the same way. Like all these things, you know. Like I've noticed with my jumping in terms of like my jump technique changes without me realizing it. Like my body is like self-organizes and self-regulates,
Yeah,
I
we've
think a
talked
little
about
bit.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Like I've noticed when I was my most elastic ever, my body was like my penultimate got a little bit shorter. I noticed I was jumping into my penultimate a little bit more. Background contact times were shorter,
Mm.
like everything like that. And I didn't think about these things. My body just kind of did it without me thinking about it, you know? And then versus when I was my strongest ever, my penultimate got a little bit longer. My ground contact times were a little bit longer. Um, because my strongest quality at that time was strength, or stronger at that time. So my body was utilizing more of that. um, that strength of
Mm.
strength
Yeah, well,
to jump higher, because
you.
hey,
I'll say you go. I'll say something after.
no, yeah, no, so go, I'm done.
Um,
Uh,
but I remember when you sent me those clips and you were like, "Yo, does my jump technique look different?" And we didn't even need to like analyze it too hard. You could literally just see from the video in real time that you're getting off the ground way quicker on those like it was like end of 2022, start of 2023 clips
yeah,
compared to like a couple months after that.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. That's because my Achilles was way more springy and elastic, and my one foot was a lot better at that time as well because of that.
This reminds me
Hey,
of this reminds me of a conversation we had on Wednesday, I think. Yeah, it was Wednesday. And we were saying that genetics in jumping is more than just like there's different types of being like genetically gifted. There's like being genetically gifted in what we were just saying before, just like in terms of hip anatomy. Then there's genetically gifted in like what fiber types you're mainly born with, even
yeah,
like how easily you can put on muscle, which is like how much myostatin you have. Um, but also like injury, like how injury prone you are. That's another thing. Like it's more than just who's the most elastic guy. Obviously that is a big one, but there's so many things like even metabolism, like how much food can you eat and not get fat, right? These all play a role.
yeah. But even that's a fine line. Like, there's not too much variability there. There might be like a 200 calorie variability there,
Oh, wait, hold on, you're lagging.
in terms of the thing. Can you hear me?
I don't know when you moved, like I think when you go onto the stairs, it like shits itself.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
All right, yeah. So there's only like a 200 calorie variability there, or like something like that, something around that. I can't remember the exact number, but it's only like it's not that big.
I would say though, some people are more prone to putting on body fat than others, for sure.
They are, but it's also like because of the fact that some people probably just move more in their day-to-day life than
Yeah,
other people. It's like being here in Prague in this country, like there's not many fat people. And it's literally because everyone just fucking takes public transport and walks fucking everywhere, bro. You
yeah,
know? Like it's so easy to get 10K steps here.
yeah, yeah. No one walks here. No one walks in the street.
Like that's a factor. And like going into the country and like people like are chopping wood, bro, like walking up hills like every fucking day, like they're just doing shit. They're just moving more, moving their bodies more, you know?
Yeah,
And that's the key, man. You got to move your body. Like whereas people in Australia, like more people are fat because they're just fucking poor lifestyle, Don't move enough. It's like
that's
same in America, same thing, like shit food. Like here, like going to the grocery stores, bro. Like we have like in Australia, we have like entire aisles of like sugary like fucking cereal. And same in America, they're even worse, right? Versus here, they don't really have that, you know. They have like and like and then you go to Australia, right? You have like KFC, McDonald's, Hungry Jack's, like you have fucking all of them next to each other, Domino's behind, like there's fast food like absolutely everywhere. And they have fast food here, but you don't see them all fucking lined up in a row here, like, you know, there's like a crazy amount of that in comparison to like and then obviously America is like Australia but worse, but like it's not the same as well.
it's just Western
It's
world.
also an environment. It's also just an environment as well. Environmental factors that are huge,
No, definitely. Yeah. I mean, you can't
you
change
know?
what you're born in, so yeah.
Yeah. Like, I haven't tracked my food since being here. And like in Australia, I was tracking like every day. I haven't tracked anything here.
In what do you think you've lost weight?
Well, I did like first week, I lost like 3 kilos because I was like under eating and because I was moving so much, like,
Getting that?
walking upstairs, fucking training, doing so much shit.
Yeah, you've set yourself up pretty well for coming back and starting to jump a lot more. Because you're gonna be lighter, so you better get away with more jumps as well.
Yeah. It helps for sure. It helps for sure. You know, also like, yeah, getting more elastic helps as well. Stronger tendons.
Yeah, we were jumping on Saturday now, which is good.
Yeah, it is good.
Hopefully we.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm actually very curious to see how you go in this new gym. Imagine the room's like 9-9 or some shit. Jeepers, that'd be fucked.
Yeah, I'm pretty fatigued though, so like you're pretty fatigued when you're 300.
Yeah, yeah.
But you were saying that it's probably gonna take you like a month to like super compensate from that.
Mm-hmm. I actually was going back on my old footage, and I remember. Well, I don't remember. I saw that it was like a week or two after I did the original 300. I had like one of my most like breakout days ever. So we'll see. Although I have pulled 300 twice, so maybe it'll take 4 weeks, just double.
The force, the force is with you, baby.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, man.
Uh,
I'm definitely way more.
all right.
I say I'm definitely more powerful now because I'm like the same
Yeah.
weight as I was, but I did it without a belt and like 1,000 times easier.
Nah, yeah. Nah, I reckon you're definitely weaker, bro, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were actually 10 kilo plus.
Definitely still pussy. Yeah. Anyways, if you guys are looking for training, you guys are looking to jump higher, click the link in our Instagram bio and you can apply for coaching there. All right. And without further ado, we'll catch you guys in the next podcast.